60 seconds of punk, and we on one. Coming from the East Coast to the West Coast, 60 seconds of punk, hard cutoff. What?
All right. So listen, I said this a while ago that I was scared that CM Punk was going to be the 2002 NWO. And guess what? CM Punk was the 2002 NWO. Nobody wanted him, and the people that did want him were his good friends. And this isn't to say that CM Punk isn't a nice guy. I don't know him. It'd be wrong for me to say otherwise. However, the locker room as a whole did not want him. And the locker room as a whole are going to be better off without him. He is great. Not only is he great, he's beyond great. The fact that he worked the match that he did with Joe moments after having a I'm going to quit the show moment with Tony Khan and Jack Perry backstage goes to show how good he is. However, because he had a I'm going to quit the show moment, the minute before he was supposed to kick off a show with 81,000 people that literally an entire company was like hitched onto, shows how much of an idiot that he is. And so I loved the return. I loved a lot of the matches. I think that he is great at what he does. And I think that the entire company will be better off without him. I wish him the best. If there's a WWE run, I seriously hope that he gets it. I would love to see WWE Part 2. Part of me secretly is going to be watching and be like, what's going on over there? But I'd like to see it, man. I really do. I really want to see it. And so I bid you adieu. Goodbye. Good night. Bang. Now, oh, by the way, Collision on Saturday, if you notice, didn't have 9 squash matches on it because the roster was allowed to be on Collision for once. And so that's going to be very good for Collision, especially going against college football this year. I'm done.
Andretti, you want to take your 60 seconds of Punk?
I don't have too much, but, at some point, if there's 99 people that have a problem with one person, it doesn't matter who is in the right and who's in the wrong. This has been going on for a long time. That one person needs to go. And they made the right call by getting rid of him. That guy is exactly who I always thought he was. He's a piece of shit. He's selfish. He even pissed off Samoa Joe before going out to that match. He almost didn't even go out to that match to wrestle in front of those people because he was throwing a temper tantrum backstage. The guy's worse than Hulk Hogan, and I will stand by that. He is worse than Hulk Hogan, and I don't ever want to see him again. He does not deserve to be in the WWE. He does not deserve to get that paycheck. He does not deserve to get that shine or that spotlight. They don't need him. The guy's a joke. We don't ever need to see him again. Fuck you. I hope I never see you again on TV.
Wow, that was spicy.
He is exactly who I always said he was. Exactly. He proved it. You proved it. All you can go on is past precedent about how people are in their life. This guy's always been a douchebag. He's always been hard to deal with. He's been a bully. He's been confrontational. He knows Tony Khan is a really nice person. He's taken advantage of Tony Khan every chance he's gotten. He's extremely disrespectful. He's a complete asshole to other talent. There's no reason why that guy should ever be on your roster. So, hey, let me say this too real quick. It is not an easy thing when you are in a leadership position and you're not a confrontational, you're not an alpha male in the room like Tony Khan's not. He's a very well-liked, nice guy. It is really difficult to make decisions like, should we terminate this person, right? Or how do we confront this person that is the biggest personality in the room, right? How do we confront that, right? And I've got to give Tony Khan a lot of credit. I go back to that thing after the show in September. I don't know how Tony Khan didn't punch that guy in the face, and I give him a lot of credit for the restraint that he gave right there on the spot about not losing his mind right there on CM Punk. And I said it before, and I still believe it. You got to give it a chance to get better, and you got to try to get better with everybody and try to make everybody work so that we can make some money together, right? You owe it to yourselves to try to get together to make it work, right? To make money as a company. And they did that. And the guy has proven that he cannot deal with anyone. He got into fights with people like Ryan Nemeth and Jack Perry. I mean, dude, come on, what are we doing? You're fighting with Ryan Nemeth.
Steven Regal's first day on the job, he called Steven Regal a hunter stooge
Yeah.
and said, "I don't trust you." And I bet right now he probably is saying,
Regret-
"Oh, I was just kidding." JK,
JK, man.
JK, Lord William.
You want to talk about somebody that can't get out of their own way? It's him. And I'm telling you right now, man, history is not going to be kind to CM Punk. It's not going to be. And you just trust me on that. I'm telling you right now, you're gonna remember that. History will not be kind to that guy's legacy.
And really quick, because I know John's gonna babyface just a little bit. So before he does, I'll just say one more thing. That CM Punk. So there are the veterans in the room, right? And there are the guys that are there to help you learn. And they're, forever there's been the old guard teaches the young guys what to do. And then the young guys figure out that I should have been listening to the old guys the whole time. And it's one thing when you are the old guy that's in a suit that comes back to town that says, "Fellas, this is what success looks like. And this is how you get to where I am." And there's another thing whenever you're the guy that comes back to the high school football game wearing your Letterman's jacket, telling the coach what plays to call.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's been the latter. And it's a shame because he has a lot of cachet, dude. And he's a draw, and he's got fans. And, he sold out the United Center on a rumor. And the reality of it is that first episode of Collision did whatever it did. And then those numbers went down. And you know when they spiked? Whenever Adam Cole and MJF were in the main event against FTR. And then those ratings went right back down again. And so if there were that many CM Punk fans out there, that wouldn't have been the rating pattern. We could put out excuses and we could say that there was a WWE show and there was a UFC show and there was blah, blah, blah. If CM Punk was that dude, they wouldn't have 500,000 people watching on Saturday. They would have something closer to Dynamite. And the only time that they have something closer to Dynamite, or they had something as close to Dynamite from the launch of the show, was whenever they had Adam Cole and MJF in the main event of that thing. And so they'll be just fine. Boy,
that crowd sure wasn't too pro CM Punk this weekend. That was a pretty even crowd and a nice crowd.
Wasn't that something? That something?
Amazing how that happened.
Go ahead, John. You go.
Yeah, so I am not as irritated. I mean, I'm irritated because it's like kind of like Tony. You kind of knew what you bought when you signed up for this, and I kind of felt like he was, and like what Andretti said about him, he was making face, he was turning baby face, and everyone was rejoicing and happy that he was back, and it seemed like he was kind of changed, and then very quickly kind of realized that things weren't whenever, and like it wasn't quickly, it just kind of happened out of nowhere with Brawl Out. Whenever that happened, then all of these other issues that have been kind of leading up to that came out, and it's like, oh, holy shit, we're back here again. And things kind of never got better there from the start. So I don't know. I mean, it's definitely somebody who took advantage of the system that Tony had in place, and somebody that tried to come in and change and try to make his own company is kind of what it felt like, that was not welcomed. And he took that as a personal attack, and that's kind of how I feel about it, which it sucks. I mean, he is great. I mean, the fact that everything that Mongoose said about him, like literally getting into a like, I want to quit, I'm not going out there, and then going out there and have that match, that's like how good he is, but he can't get out of his own damn way. And it sucks as fans.
Don't forget that he had to get talked into that.
He had to get talked into it. And what sucks is that, that it's a whole lot of woulda, coulda, shoulda with CM Punk. It's a whole lot of woulda, coulda, shoulda would have happened if, he would have main evented WrestleMania, or if he would have not, taken that, not have said all that shit in that press conference, or if he wouldn't have met Jack Perry backstage, which, to really think about that whole Jack Perry stuff, like, okay, I get that, like, if somebody wants to use real glass and like you might have been put in a weird spot to say like, hey, like, we're not going to use real glass, like that's probably, it's like a safety thing, but like, I don't know, this feels like a big misstep in leadership, and it showed through that it doesn't matter how even bad of a talent can be, if you don't have any leadership in place, nothing's ever going to change. And this is where I feel like we give a lot of shit to Undertaker on this podcast sometimes, but I feel like that is what's missing in AEW, is somebody that says, no, fuck you, this is what we're really going to do. It seems like there's a whole lot of cooks in the kitchen and nobody knows how to make the soup. So hopefully things change. I am optimistic. I heard really great reviews, and I'm sure we're going to talk about it here, about what happened with All Out. But when the foundation is rocked, will the pillars still hold? And that's kind of where I'm at with AEW.
Yeah, and well, the big thing here, John, is the worst thing about CM Punk is that you were the biggest AEW fan I knew, and you didn't watch this show last week, and it's literally his fault.
Yeah.
It's Tony's fault because it's his company,
right?
But it's because of CM Punk.
Like literally, my decline started whenever that Brawl Out stuff happened.
Yeah. And here's the thing: is that Brawl Out stuff. So all the stuff that we heard right away, literally all shook out to be, well, CM Punk did throw the first punch. And I got news for you, man. If I am an EVP and I am listening to somebody on the roster sit next to my boss that started this company with me and say how much we all suck and don't know what we're doing, and say, like, come find me, well, then I'm going to come find you. Yeah. So they did. And so everybody always says, oh, these, sissy and, bleep this out, but these pussy young bucks and blah, blah, blah. Like, they went and found him, man. And you know what they did? Like, they said, what are you doing? And then so he still threw the first punch. By all accounts, he threw the first punch. And so he starts the problem with the press conference, throws the first punch in a physical altercation. Then the elite guys, as much as everybody wants to say that, oh, these elite guys, they run the company, blah, blah, blah. They said, bro, we're done with you. No mas. We don't want any more. And so then Punk got to babyface himself and leak to all of his sources and say, I had these meetings with the elite. I'm gonna set this up. I'm gonna do this and that. And we come to find out time after time that either the story's incomplete or things get strategically leaked to make him look a certain way. And then that whole Jack Perry story, that gets leaked by him before even the All Out weekend and everything, or All In weekend started, because it babyfaces Punk so that he could be the locker room guy. I don't know, man. I'm very frustrated because and this stuff that just came out, that the day that he was released, he leaked the story that he was supposed to meet with the elite, and the reality of that is that TK calls the elite and says, hey guys, do you want to have a meeting with Punk? We're all going to be together. And then they say no. So again, he gets a chance to leak stories that make it seem like he tried to make this work, when in reality, he tried to make this work in the way that, like, people in bad relationships say that they're trying to make this work.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's literally me being like in a breakup and saying, hey, I want you to live your own life. By the way, like, I miss you, and you look good. Like, do you know what I'm saying? It's this weird, like, manipulative, strange thing. And
I don't even care. I don't care who's right. It's you sacrifice one for the good of everyone. I don't care.
And it turns into toxic. You took the best locker room in pro wrestling and turned it into a shit show. And the thing is everybody can joke and say it was all friends wrestling or whatever. But look, man, I don't care if it's all friends wrestling. If the locker room, the people making the money, like to be at work every day, and if they're having a lot of fun and putting on good matches, then I honestly don't care if Colt Cabana's getting a push. I don't. Like, yeah. I'd much rather watch people like what they're doing and get paid to do it. And so that hasn't been the case. And it hasn't been. Everybody can tell. And I'll tell you what, John, All In felt like that. It did. That was a good feeling show.
Yeah.
Or All Out, rather, I guess. I get him confused. Christ,
All
back
Out,
to back.
All Out was the second one, right?
Yep. All Out was
Yes,
the
All
second
Out
one.
was the second
Yeah.
one.
So Wembley,